right now, you need to take cover. And we talked about that yesterday. Have a plan so when this happens, you don't waste time trying to decide what's the best hallway to go into, what's the best way to get out of the way of windows and flying debris. You just don't want to do that. So please have a plan if you will. So here's the radar, and it is this is the line of showers and storms we're watching, and this is growing a little bit in intensity. And that, I think, is going to be the next chance for flooding in the metro, especially west of I-95, and also the next chance for, severe weather in the form of the tornado. So there's the tornado warning. It goes until 12:15, Culpeper, Madison, Rappahannock. So if you're anywhere in this area, up toward Amosville and up along, 522 and 211, you should start to think about taking cover. As I mentioned last night, even if we don't see a tornado with some of these storms, we're still going to see big winds, probably 40 to 50 mile per hour winds, and rainfall rates right there is about almost 2 inches per hour. So we're going to see some more flooding with these storms as we go through the next, really the next few hours. I think it's going to be the case where this is going to continue to develop and probably become a little more intense as we go through, say, the next 4 to 5 hours. But the good news is the models all seem to be taking this out a little more quickly. So that means we're left with severe weather maybe until 6 or 7 o'clock, and 7 o'clock is when the tornado watch expires, but it also gets everything out of here more quickly. I think by midnight we may just be left with some light showers and nothing more than that. So that's good news. Let me go back over here and talk about what Chester was mentioning, and this is important, and we want folks again to sort of have a plan, okay, if you can. So where to go in a tornado? Okay, the most important thing to remember is to get away from windows, and that keeps you a little safer in terms of the flying debris. So you want to get away from windows, and that just means an interior hall, or away from windows means an interior hall or stairwell. That's kind of the key, if you will. So hallway, closet, that's a great place to be. Stairs, as long as notice there's no outside walls here. Bathroom's great, but also has an outside wall, not the greatest place to be. So avoid windows and doors and outside walls. And yes, we heard about this in Louisiana. Folks actually covered themselves with blankets and mattress, and it saved their lives. So that will protect you from debris. The best place to go, always, is the basement. Okay, but even if a basement has windows, don't go near the windows in the basement, okay? Still stay away from windows, but that's a much, much safer place. But a lot of folks don't have a basement, especially into southern Maryland. So that's just a little lesson. We talked about that yesterday, and hopefully folks, have a plan with that. Notice how Futurecast pulls this out so quickly. I know they went pretty fast for everybody, but I mean, this really takes everything out of here pretty quickly. So this is now, okay, 1 o'clock, and it does appear that the heaviest activity will sort of be a little bit west of town, kind of in between I-81 and I-95. And if that were the case, that'd be more flooding for Loudoun County, even parts of Montgomery County, and also into Frederick County. As we move this forward, we're looking at the potential for heavy rain moving northeastward. So you see that 2 o'clock. 2:30, 3 o'clock. So now it's really, really hammering, places like Frederick and Hagerstown. You folks in Hagerstown don't need any more rain. So this looks like the next batch of severe weather we'll be tracking pretty much all afternoon. Okay, tornado watch goes until 7. The flash flood watch goes throughout most of the day into tomorrow morning. We'll see if they change that a little bit, but right now it goes through until 8 o'clock on Thursday. There's 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Good news here now, if schools are trying to stay in session, well, according to Futurecast, the severe weather will be passed by 5 o'clock. Still some big storms down to the south, but the good news is I think by 4 or 5 o'clock, the threat will be more east of us and north of us. Pennsylvania is getting hammered with tremendous amounts of rain. We're going to see rainfall up there, probably 6 to 8 inches in parts of Pennsylvania.
Hey,
now,
Topper.
Yes, sir.
Really quickly, it's Lorenzo here, jumping in. Looking at the map here, what makes the atmosphere favorable right now for producing these tornadoes? We keep talking about the tornado watch, but I'm looking at the radar. This seems like something we'd see on, a typical stormy day. So what exactly are we looking at here in terms of conditions and why these tornadoes may be produced?
And I have to interject here, Lorenzo. Sorry to cut you off. The tornado warning has been canceled.
Yeah, you just canceled it.
So that was quick.
Yep, that was quick. So there it is. So it is canceled. So that's good news. And much like last night, they did not push the tornado warning northward. They just continued the severe thunderstorm warnings. Well, Lorenzo, we got a lot of things going on. We got a frontal system trying to bisect the metro area and moving north, and that gives us winds in one direction. We've got the remnants from Ida coming in from another direction. You get a little thing called shear, and shear is simply different speeds and different directions of wind at various layers of the atmosphere, and that causes the whole thunderstorm to rotate, and then when they rotate, sometimes they can drop down a tornado. So we have a very tropical environment, and that's why we were concerned about very, very heavy rains as well. In fact, I think flooding is going to be a much bigger deal than tornadoes today. It really is. It's a much bigger deal. So just be advised. But this is the line that we're watching, and it's getting a little more organized and a little more intense. So I think in the next 4 or 5 hours, either side of I-81, maybe all the way to 95, probably a little bit west of 95. We've got to get ready for heavy rain, damaging winds, and yes, possible tornadoes. So we may want to take a break now and restart before noon. Anybody in the control room? That's probably what we want to do right now. We do still have the flood warnings in effect for Fairfax County and aerial flood warning in effect for the district, which is not good because this is going to just add insult to injury as it rolls northeastward. So Leesburg, get ready for big time rain, and also Frederick, get ready for a big time rain as well. Lorenzo, any other questions?
I think we have a phoner right now. We're going to get to someone on the phone top if we do have that. Captain Thomas Dawson with the Culpeper County Emergency Services. Are you there with us, Captain Dawson?
Yes, sir. This is Captain Dawson. I'm here.
All right. If you can just give us an update on what you're seeing there in Culpeper right now.
Currently, we're seeing strong storms west and central of Culpeper County. We've been monitoring the rain all night. We're anticipating 1 to 1.5 more inches of rain, but we are under a tornado warning west central of Culpeper.
And what are some of the calls you've been getting in? Have people been calling with any particular emergency within the last couple of minutes or so?
Nothing particular in the last few minutes. We've had a few wires down, but other than that, we have been holding strong. All
right. And Topper, you said for this region that tornado warning has expired, correct? No, they canceled it. It has been canceled. You're in the
storm itself is just now pulling out of north of Culpeper, the city, and it's about to cross over 66. There's still some heavy rain, still a dangerous storm, but right now there are no tornado warnings. There is a tornado watch until 7 o'clock tonight. But we are looking, and the flash flood watch continues too until 2 a.m. out to the west of us and until 8 o'clock in the morning in the immediate metro area. So we have lots going on, but for the time being, there are no tornado warnings in the metro.
All right, Captain Dawson, you still here with me?
Yes, sir, I'm still here.
What do you have in place? Obviously, with the storms anticipated for the next couple of hours or so, are you doing things differently? Do you have a certain posture today to sort of help residents who might be in danger a little later?
We stood up our emergency operations center yesterday while monitoring the storm as it comes through. We've briefed all of our crews and our partners within the county, and our posture right now is just to monitor closely and to watch the rivers for flooding.
All right. Captain Dawson, Culpeper County, thank you so much, and you stay safe.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Top, what are we looking at right now?
We're still tracking this area of showers and storms, and it's going to be intense. But I think we have some good news as this rolls through. We're going to have the chance for severe weather and pretty good massive flooding for a while. But I think after 7 o'clock, we're going to be in pretty good shape in terms of severe weather. Now remember, the flooding that occurs this afternoon that has already occurred overnight can still be a problem and an issue. You still may have roads closed long after the rain is over. So just sort of keep that in mind. But I think in terms of severe weather, we're going to be in pretty good shape by 7 or 8 o'clock. Chester, do you concur with that?
Yeah, it looks good. And are we starting out are we heading to the noon newscast, guys? We're going to
if we can reset for a minute. Okay. We are coming up on 12 o'clock right now. And as we've been telling you, it's rare, but our team of meteorologists have issued a red weather alert for today. We're looking at possible tornadoes, flash flooding, and heavy rain, all from the remnants of Ida. Now, right now, we do have DC's most accurate forecast from two of our experts, meteorologist Chester Lampkin and the chief, Topper Shutt. And gentlemen, what are you seeing on the radar right now? If you can bring us up to date.
Yeah, so we've got the tornado watch that's in effect now until 7 o'clock. Topper's going to take care of the radar in just a moment. Just want to reiterate, we have this tornado watch that has been issued just a few minutes ago. It includes all of Metro Washington until 7 o'clock, down through southern Maryland, out to Culpeper, where we had that earlier tornado warning, and back up to Frederick and Leesburg and farther north as well. You guys are not included in the Shenandoah, West Virginia, or Western Maryland. However, you guys are seeing just copious amounts of rain at this time. There's a flood watch that covers the entire region through tomorrow morning. Another 2, 3, 4 inches of rain expected across the region. And of course, we do have some aerial flood warnings in the metro at this time. Now, Topper is tracking the storm activity, and he's going to tell you where the worst of the storms are right now. Topper?
Okay, well, let's go ahead and we'll talk about we'll kind of widen the radar out a little bit. And this is the area that we're kind of concerned about. You know, it's building off to the west of us. And so what we're looking at is this line of showers and storms. And notice the colors are all orange and yellow, which is moderate to heavy rainfall. A little flecks of red now showing up to the west is 66. So, you know, that's what we're concerned about right now. In terms of where things are going to go, I mean, we'll zoom in a little bit. We still have this, you know, this these aerial flood warnings, which means rivers and streams are out of their banks. It's a little different than a flash flood warning. It takes longer to get this water back into its banks. And remember, we mentioned this past couple of days, with all the rain upstream, we're looking at more than likely some river flooding. You know, think Old Town and think Georgetown waterfront, as we get into, say, tomorrow and maybe even into Friday morning. So there's Culpeper. You have some pretty good shower and storm just north of 15, but that's moving off to the north and the west, so we're in pretty good shape there for the time being. The tornado threat index, you see, it's just very, very weak, but we've been following this as we go through the afternoon. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and just sort of run this through the afternoon, and you can kind of see that for the most part, we are looking at the threat continues until about 7, maybe 8 o'clock. Chester.
All right, thanks a lot, Topper. And if we could just come back to Max 1 over here real quick, we'll talk about what's happening with the Futurecast. We're going to throw in some thunderstorms here in the next couple of hours here. The Futurecast putting big storms in the metro here, 1, 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. These could be strong to severe. We're talking about heavy downpours, possible flooding with these storms. They'll continue through 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock this afternoon with more storms coming this evening. So we'll come back. We'll show you the radar again. We'll time this all out hour by hour, and we'll break it all down. And when this finally clears away, for now, Lorenzo, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Chester, Topper, thank you. We'll see you in a bit, but we are also following several breaking stories right now. First, let me tell you that Montgomery County Public Schools just announcing they're closing 2.5 hours early today. Again, that is in Montgomery County. Also, what we're following this midday, at least one person is dead and another still unaccounted for after intense flooding overnight in Rockville. While most of us were sleeping, rescue crews were trying to pull residents out of their ground floor apartments as floodwaters were quickly rising there. This happened at several complexes in Montgomery County. The first of those rescues took place at the Rock Creek Woods apartments. Our Megan Rivers is live in that neighborhood right now. And Megan, what are you seeing at this moment, and what can you tell us about those rescues this morning?
Hi, Lorenzo. Yeah, we're still live at the Rock Creek Woods apartments right now. This is a very different scene than the one that we saw when we got here. Fire crews had to pump the water that was flowing in this area to the creek that was behind this apartment complex. So the very water that flowed in, they had to pump it back out. We want to stress from Montgomery County, they are stressing that that one person who is unaccounted for is not considered missing. They don't know if that person was here at this time. So if you live in the Rock Creek Woods apartments, or you know someone who lives here who has not been accounted for, they are asking you that you please call that number, that emergency number, to let them know that you are okay. We had a chance to speak with a few neighbors who live in this area who talked about the terrifying moments when the water started rushing into their homes.
Thank God, because never in my life would I ever think about this or losing my mom or my niece right in front of my eyes. No, that wasn't going to happen.
Shaken, saddened, and heartbroken, the emotions flowing through Melissa Walters right now. In the middle of the night, the creek behind her apartment complex poured into her home. Her petite mother barely survived while waiting to be rescued.
Hearing my mom, she was in a hallway. Melissa, come. My mom's only 5 feet and the water was over, about to go over her, and I grabbed her and we all were holding onto the bed.
Across the courtyard, Axel and his family managed to get out on their own.
We just hear like a loud bang, which it was the door breaking and the glass from the balcony breaking. and all that water just rushed in.
Uncertain about the immediate future as more intense storms head this way.
Honestly, we don't know yet. We're probably gonna get a hotel. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, the manager said he was gonna help us, so that's good.
Fire crews are pumping water back into the very creek that overflowed while searching for remaining survivors.
The apartment buildings themselves are structurally sound, no concerns there, but the electricity and the gas, the utilities have been shut off based upon the fact that the water totally inundated the basement.
Melissa and her family have no idea what even the rest of the day will bring.
We're gonna have to rely on the Red Cross. Yeah, we have no family.
You're all the family you have?
Yes. And thank God we all made it.
Well, cleanup efforts are still underway right now. So off in the distance, you can see crews are pulling out some of the furniture and debris that has now been created because of those flood waters that are walking in. We also have a gentleman here off to my left. I want to describe this community to you. It's a largely Hispanic community. He says that when the water came rushing in this morning, it was about chest high for him. He was taken to the hospital after he was rescued by boat by first responders. So it's a lot of people displaced here. Nearly 200 people are displaced because multiple buildings in this apartment complex were affected. So we know that it'll be a while. Now we do have information on our website right now. That's WUSA 9, where they're recommending that folks go to get that assistance they need. The Red Cross is stepping in to provide housing for them. So we have that information and that exact address on our website. That's WUSA9.com, where you can get that information. So cleanup will be underway for a while, but the big thing is that they're preparing for more rain this afternoon. So officials say that it's really hard to prepare for Mother Nature. So they're reminding you that if you see water in your home, if you see any kind of water rushing in, to evacuate your home immediately. If you have the opportunity to get those sandbags to put up by your doors, if you live in a low-lying area, to go ahead and do those and do the things that you can do to prevent that water from coming in your home. But again, if there's nothing you can do and you know that you live in a low-lying area similar to the ones like these, they're asking you guys to go ahead and prepare to evacuate. That's the latest here from the Rock Creek Woods Apartments in Montgomery County, in Rockville rather. I'm Megan Rivers. I'll send things back to you, Lorenzo.
Yeah, looking at those pictures and then seeing the water line on the apartment building there just gives you some idea of just how awful this was, along with the one person who died because of all this. Megan, thank you so much. And we're going to head farther west now to Hagerstown, Maryland, seeing some heavy rain from Ida's remnants right now. Our Matthew Torres heading that way to give us a first-hand look of what's happening there. And Matthew, we heard Topper mention not too long ago that this area does not need any more rain, but yet this is what we're getting right now.
Lorenzo, we actually just got the warning from the National Weather Service on our phone saying that there will be a flash flood warning until 6 o'clock tonight. Yes, you are right. Flash flood is going to be the biggest threat in this particular area. We're here in Hagerstown. As you can tell, the water is coming down ever so often. The wind is picking up, but water is accumulating as we speak. We're just here on West Memorial Boulevard, where city officials not only had to put the gate down, but they're now putting these barriers just before you get to the underpass, because this particular area is prone to flooding, and hence why they say, despite even with the gate down about a block from here, people still go around it. That's why they have the barriers now, to keep people protected, to add that layer of safety once again. You may hear the cars moving by. Water is ponding, or this area, the street rather, is already accumulating some water here. If I just step here to give you an idea, just within the last few minutes, and even from my own jacket, just shaking it off with the amount of water that's already gathering here, it's going to be a huge risk to be out and about, especially in prone areas to flooding. And so that's why city officials are really making sure that people are aware to be very careful. Just south of us in Martinsburg, West Virginia, I know school had to be dismissed because flooding is such a huge risk. And so we're watching how things develop here. But once again, this particular road, West Memorial Boulevard, now being blocked just to make sure people do not pass through it in case flooding does become a major threat here. Back to you, Lorenzo.
Yeah, we know it doesn't look too bad right now, but when it comes to flash flooding, as the name indicates and implies here, this can all change so quickly. Matthew, thank you, and you stay safe. All right, and if you haven't figured this out already, now's a good time to download our WUSA 9 app, and this is why. We have information on this storm's track. live in future radar. You can see it there, and you can also stream our newscasts if you do lose power. We'll also alert you as these warnings are declared. And if you can, if it's safe enough, if you can do this safely, snap a photo or video. We want to see the weather in your neighborhood. You can upload your video or pictures to our app by tapping on Near Me at the bottom right, and then we'll show your pictures and videos right here on TV or on our website. We'll be right back. So this has been a frequent trip for some of our neighbors in Northern Virginia. Alexandria residents once again picking up sandbags in anticipation of more stormy weather today. We continue our coverage now with Scott Broom, who has a closer look at the preparations underway in Virginia. And Scott, it seems the folks there are essentially experts when it comes to getting ready.
Well, they've been flooded 2 times in the last 3 weeks. They're watching radar like crazy right now, hoping it doesn't come here. Take a look at the MacGyver solutions in this backyard after 2 floods in 3 weeks. Piles of gravel, bags full of mulch being used essentially as sandbags to get the water to go out the door. This is Jim Moran's house. Let me show you pictures of what this looked like in one of the recent floods, and you'll understand why they've built these sandbags, and they even got trash cans piled up here to try to divert the water if it comes. Across the street, meanwhile, I talked to one of the neighbors here. Her name is Linda White. Here's what's going on at her house.
We put in these are 2 by 8 foot by 10 inch boards that we painted and primed. We put 90 feet of those to keep the water coming through. What we're trying to do is divert the water out to the street. But we spent a lot of money and we're very anxious about, is it gonna make, anytime you divert water, then it goes somewhere else and it's hard to predict where it's gonna go.
So it's like MacGyver time this morning and this afternoon in this neighborhood here in Alexandria, with people stacking up sandbags trying to keep the water from going out this gate over to Mrs. White's house over there. They are really watching the radar and hoping that most of this water, in this case, diverts around Alexandria. We'll see what happens. Reporting live in Alexandria, Scott Broom, WUSA 9.
We are hoping it does not flood either there. Scott, thank you. And you know, when there's severe weather, I want to be in a room with these two guys here. I'm lucky. Meteorologist Chester Lampkin, the chief topper shut. What are we seeing out there right now, gentlemen? I know we saw our Matthew Torres in Hagerstown just a moment ago. It's raining there, but you have Scott Broom in Northern Virginia. It's still pretty dry.
Right, dry in some parts of the area, and then you head west. It's a gully washer, if you will. Hagerstown, Martinsburg. It's been raining all morning. We do have the tornado watch. It does not include you guys in the Shenandoah, Winchester, Martinsburg, Hagerstown areas or down through Newmarket, but it does include the metro here. Metro Washington till 7 o'clock, that tornado watch. Again, that's till 7 o'clock. We also have the flash flood watch, covers the entire area, southern Maryland, the metro, down through Culpeper, out west through West Virginia. 2 to 4 inches of rain with a few spots seeing as much as 6 inches of rain. So planning out your afternoon, grab the umbrella, grab the rain gear here in the metro. It is going to be a soaker along with strong to severe storms. Radar right now with Topper Shut. He's checking that out.
Chester, thank you. Yeah, we're looking at, as you mentioned, the heaviest rain still west of town. We talked about this the past couple of days. The heaviest access of rain was going to be along I-81 and north and west into the mountains. So this is what we have right now. Heavy rain around Leesburg, out toward Winchester, up I-81 to Hagerstown. That is indicated by the orange and the yellows and a little flecks of red. We'll zoom in a little bit. Heaviest rain now just to the north of Front Royal. Everything pushing off to the northeast. Heaviest rainfall rates I could find. The orange is generally about 3/4 of an inch per hour. The red, though, is over an inch per hour. So that's getting pretty heavy. So you're heading out 50. You had some heavy rain earlier between Aldie and Upperville. In fact, we're looking at rainfall rates here about 3/4 of an inch. Middleburg, heaviest rain is pushing just to your north now toward Montville. As you go out St. Louis Road, you're going to find heavier rain north as that storm kind of follows off to the north and the east. We'll zoom back out. Hagerstown really hit hard. And we talked about this I-81 corridor. Rainfall amounts pretty impressive. We'll zoom in a little bit. Still some moderate to heavy rain, even at this hour, out toward Sweeney Drive, up toward Cedar Lawn, up 81, and also at 40. So, again, if you can stay off the roads, it's a good idea because we're looking at a lot of road closures and a lot of flash flooding. And, again, turn around, don't drown. Here's some of the accumulating rainfall. See the blue here? That is well over 1.5 inches. We'll kind of highlight around toward Hagerstown. And this is about 1.7 inches. And you're probably looking at another 1 to 3 inches before all is said and done. So it's going to get worse in Hagerstown and Martinsburg before it gets better. We have some good news, though. Now, we're not all bad news here. So this is 1:30 this afternoon. This is the Tornado Threat Index. It's just one of the tools we look at. And it still has a very low chance around the metro area back to Leesburg. By the time we get to 2 o'clock, it's now pulling up north, up toward I-95 and Baltimore. And then by the time we get to 4 o'clock, it's almost across the bay, Anne Arundel County and also into Calvert County. So what we're saying here is that the tornado watch goes until 7 o'clock, but we may see the threat leave a couple hours earlier. Now, where are these storms headed? Here's meteorologist Chester Lampkin. Chester.
All right, thanks a lot, Topper. So, yeah, let me show you that future cast. Storms continue to move through right on through the 2 o'clock hour. Big storms moving through the metro, 2, 3, 4 o'clock. Again, these could be strong to severe, but it pulls the severe weather out of here by 5, 6 o'clock. So the evening commute may actually end up dry. A few more storms linger into the evening. Otherwise, things will start to quiet down across the region, and we'll see improving weather across our area. So temperatures in the low 80s today, more heavy showers and thunderstorms across our region. Once we get into the evening hours, things are going to relax. In total, we'll get about 1 to 2 inches of rain across the area. Some spots could see up to 3, 4, 5 inches, especially north and west of town. And beautiful weather headed our way for Thursday and Friday with dry skies, temperatures in the 70s. We'll bump back into the 80s on Saturday, and we'll see maybe a couple storms Sunday. Won't be a big deal. Labor Day weekend generally pretty quiet. We'll come back. We'll track more storms for you right after this. We will be right back.